At 8/7 Central on Global.
Welcome back. Author Clayton Powel with me here. The author of a brand new book called You Are Not What You Eat. And for the past few years, we certainly have been hearing a lot about how we are what we eat. You know, we hear a lot about wheat belly and how everything we eat affects us. What made you write this book with this different point of view?
Three things, Lynn. First, my experience in working in the Western medical model. I'm a registered psych nurse. I specialized in detoxification, addictions treatment, and emergency psych assessments. And the second thing was my own experience, my own battle against chronic digestive problems. So I know how frustrating and nasty they can be. At one point, I mean, I thought I was going to have to exist on white rice and steamed vegetables. And the third thing was my introduction and training in the traditional medical models of Asia, because that's where I found this the first time I was taught that how important it is that how you eat as opposed to just what you eat. And as you were just mentioning, in the West, we're overwhelmed with information on what to eat, good fat, bad fat, high carb, low carb, well, what not to eat, no wheat, no gluten, no dairy, etc. And it's not working. I mean, digestive illness in the West is at an all-time high. It's estimated, 30 to 50% of us have digestive illness. After the common cold, it's the most likely reason we'll go and visit a doctor. So that approach to what you eat is important, but we're ignoring the other half of the equation, which is the impact of how you eat. And maybe I can use my little model here to show you.
Very interested to see your
what I'm talking about.
Digestive system.
Yes, it's my little Rube Goldberg thing here. So if you imagine a hollow tube that's 25 feet high, so that's 2.5 stories high, open at both ends, but it's not straight. It's got a really elaborate design. So about 8 inches below the top, it widens into this pear-shaped bag. And then it narrows again and forms this series of loops and coils around itself to take up most of that 25 feet. Then it widens once more, forms a large arch around those loops and coils, and finishes with the bottom end pointing down. Now, if you wrap a body around that, you've got a human being. Small human being in this case, but you've got a human being. So mouth, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and your happy little anus down there. Now, here's the important thing. This tube is brilliant. This tube actually has its own brain controlling it. There are more neurons in this tube than in your spinal column. 70% of your nervous system is in here.
Now, you do mention in your book that the brain, as you call it, that runs your digestive system could have a game of chess with your brain.
Yeah, it's a provocative statement. The brain's going to win, but this thing, it's called the enteric nervous system, wouldn't embarrass itself. So here's the most important thing. If you understand this about digestion, you get everything. Just because, I got a little cherry here, just because you put something into that hollow tube, it's not in your body yet. It's just inside that hollow tube. In order to get into your body, it actually has to be digested and absorbed through the walls of that tube into your bloodstream. If it doesn't, one of two things is happening. Either it's going all the way through, coming out the other end, robbing your body of energy because your body's still expended energy to move that through. Or the other thing that can happen, which is worse, is it hangs around and causes problems because in some places the lining of this tube is only 1 cell thick. So it's easily irritated. So it doesn't matter how nutritious the food is that you put into your body if you don't digest it, which is why what you eat is important, but how you eat is equally important.
So explain to me how you eat. Are you talking about eating too quickly or eating standing up versus sitting down? Or
Sure. There's 7 simple steps that I talk about in the book. And one you might be familiar with, eating at the wrong time. Shift workers, the incidence of, 12 years at 2:45 in the morning. Women understand this better than men. We have different cycles, internal cycles. Eating late at night is not good. Digestion doesn't work well when we're sleeping. So that's one thing. A simple thing like chewing your food better have a dramatic impact on whether you actually absorb the nutrients out of what you put into it, which is important. Whether you're a competitive athlete or have an acute illness, you want to get the nutrients out of that. Another thing is eating in between meals. This idea of grazing can cause a lot of problems because once food starts to leave our stomach, all of digestion changes. If we keep putting things in on top, we mess up everything that's going on there.
So you're saying that once you eat a meal, you should give yourself a certain amount of time to basically clear the meal and the system before you eat again. So no snacking between lunch and dinner, no, obviously, eating overnight sort of thing, no snacking between breakfast and lunch. So how do you know how long it takes your body to clear a meal?
There's a little technique that they use in Ayurvedic medicine that I was taught. My digestion, again, was so nasty that I first learned this. You sip about a quarter cup of warm water and you'll get a bit of a belch. And if there's any taste of food or smell of food in that belch, food is still in the stomach. You want things to clear the stomach, not your whole digestive tract, but the stomach before you put anything else in on top of it. So any natural belch will also tell you the same thing.
Okay, well, very interesting. Van Clayton Powel, thanks so much for coming in and bringing your demonstration with us. You are not what you eat. You can peruse that and see what you can come up with. We have 3 copies of the book, You Are Not What You Eat, to give away. You can email us at weekendnews@globaltv.com for your chance to win that book. Again, thank you very much.
On the website, folks can download 3 chapters for free.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. Westla has your work week forecast when the noon news hour continues. Stay with us.
This program is brought to you by